Hey everybody, it's Rich. We're shooting a video today on our lower unit trim repair, just talking about solenoid repair and repairing your trim up and down unit. You'll hear me refer to it as trim tab, but I just mean the trim unit. You also hear me make one mistake. I'm talking about 135 amp switch, not 135 volt. Check it out. Hey everybody, it's Rich Soderquist from Real Swede. We're out in the Mad Scientist garage. As you can see, the front of the kayaks have been turned into a bench for tools. That's because the Real Swede has been down for this little part right here. And we just can't have that with salmon season coming upon us, so I thought I'd do a little video on how to repair your trim tabs. So this is the back of the Real Swede, and right now the Mercruiser is not trimming up and down. And so we're going to get inside and I'll give you a lowdown on troubleshooting solenoids and the trim tab units. Stay tuned. Alright everybody, it's Rich Soderquist. I'm on the back of the Real Swede. That's the unit down there for the trim tab. You got up and down solenoids on these. And I was having trouble with mine would go down, but it wouldn't come up. So I was suspecting that it was a solenoid, and there's a ton of really good videos on YouTube on how to troubleshoot these. Really though, breaks down with this 4-pole type, where you have two smaller leads that are going to be carrying your low current wire coming from your switch, usually at the dash or the shifter. So these will be, usually if you're testing them, you'll just get continuity across them. So when you turn the switch on and it makes this, it energizes the coil in here, and it raises the plunger and makes these two units, and it sends your voltage. This is basically the switch that gets made when the coil energizes with these two little leads turning on. Now the problem with these is they'll wear out inside and they won't touch. It won't touch when it's being made, and so you'll hear the click click. And usually, now you can get these replaced fairly easily. Depending on where you buy them from. You buy them online, they can be less expensive. I happen to pay $37 for the original OEM. You can see the original one there. It's back in the boat. The only problem is when I got the original back in, I was still having the problem. Now this one, it did test bad, but then I knew, hey, there's got to be something else going on. Well, there was, and it's this little jewel right here, and it hooks up right there. And so we're having trouble finding what this is. First I thought maybe it was just a terminal block. So I went to DNR Sports. We're fortunate enough to have that close to us. And I was also, so I ordered a couple things that they think it is, but their drawings weren't really showing what it is. We're fortunate enough to have DNR Sports real close to us. That's Dad and Randy. It's in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It's Randy Van Dam's sports center there just outside of Kalamazoo on M43, and they usually have everything. That's Jonathan's dad, in case you're wondering who that is. At any rate, we're very fortunate to have that here, and they can usually order anything you need, but we're having trouble finding this. So I actually got into some manuals that I have that are the mechanics manuals for training, and some other climber manuals that actually had this version's electrical diagram, and they're calling it out as a 135 volt fuse. Okay, so it actually has a fuse in there, and that would make sense because we had voltage here coming from the actual starter solenoid here running over here, and we had the voltage here, but we didn't have it going to the solenoid. So I was troubleshooting this, and what we're going to do is we're able to go to the store. I've got parts on order, but I want to see if I can actually get this stud mount fuse to work. It's a little bit heavier fuse. We're going to put that in. It's up to 32 volts, available just at your regular store. And so we're going to give this a try, and basically it'll work as the same thing. It's up to 35 volts, I think, 175 amp fuse. Paid $5 for it. It's not going to hurt anything for us to trim this up and down. Alright, so we have the, it's an Eaton Corporation Busman fuse installed. And this is master secondary type setup to where you have 12 volts constant coming. This is the main battery going to the starter, but you've got a constant 12 volts running straight up here. I'm just going to break this down for you as best I know. Comes into this fuse block, stays constant on your secondary solenoid, stays constant here, and that was the problem. We weren't getting any voltage at this terminal. This had gone open on that little fuse block I showed you. So when you turn the switch on at the dash, you get 12 volts here, and this is ground. This is ground for everything. And it's Earth's ground, basically the ground of your battery, right? If you wanted to see it, I mean, it's basically right there. So it's grounded to the casing of the motor. The case of this little trim tab motor is also grounded here. Everything is grounded on this lead. So you've got power and ground, right? And it comes over here to the other small terminal, ground. This is your other green wire coming from the dash. And so blue basically up, green ground going towards the ground. That's basically the way this one's set up. So when you kick on the switch, it energizes these, sends a switch, the switch makes, and it goes up or down. Same with this one, depending on which one you're choosing. So once you energize that switch, the coil activates, closes this switch, sends voltage here if you're going down, sends voltage through this blue wire if you're going up, and that's it. So we're going to give this a try, see if it works. All right, we're back up at the dash. What we're going to do is we're going to trim up and trim down. Oh, that's a beautiful sound. We're trimming up. Oh yeah, we're trimming down. That's awesome. She worked. Hope you like this little brief video. This is something that forever, the wiring diagrams in these drive me nuts. So I know a lot of other people are struggling with them too. If you like it, please share and subscribe. Thank you.